Some filmmakers understand how to use the third dimension. Some, not so much. Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters is the name of the movie. It is the Hansel and Gretel story as you've never heard it before, and hopefully never will again. Please. Although with the Witch Hunters addendum on there, it makes me think maybe they want to make this into a franchise. Please no, don't let it happen. This movie is awful. There's a lot to really despise about this movie, starting with the fact that there's just no story. It's a very paper-thin plot pasted around the story of Hansel and Gretel that we know from the fairy tales, and they try to make it into some sort of revenge-killing movie with Hansel and Gretel going after witches, and it just doesn't work. Add to that the fact that the CG, the computer-generated graphics in this movie, are atrocious and distracting and almost laugh out loud bad. And it just makes for a very poor movie-going experience. I will also say, I'm not quite sure why this movie had to be rated R, and at that, kind of really go for the R with the violence and a lot of what was happening there. It really seems like this is a movie that could have had more of an appeal as a PG-13 movie. It just seems like that was the wrong choice. I don't know if they felt like they had to do that for the blood and the gore to get that in there. That was crucial to the story they wanted to tell. Maybe they were trying to honor the original fairy tales, which are much more graphic and bloody than we think them to be because we've heard the kind of toned down stories in our childhood. But whatever the case, I feel like it was a poor decision. I really feel like this movie could have been like A Knight's Tale. You remember the Heath Ledger movie back in the day where it's kind of quirky and anachronistic. It doesn't really feel like it happened in medieval times. There's music from modern day and different things. This kind of had that feel to it. And I think if it had embraced that instead of kind of the violence aspect of it, it may have been a little bit of a different film. If I had to look for another bright spot, it might be Jeremy Renner. The guy can act, although he's not given much to do here. And really, he's slumming. Let's just be honest. Jeremy Renner is slumming in this movie, and he does a fine job, but it's not going to be necessarily the movie he puts at the top of his resume. And I have to say, one final thing, the 3D in this movie is just abysmal. It's as if every moment they're trying to find something they can fling at you from the screen and to make the audience flinch. Every 5 minutes, something is flying at the screen, some piece of wood shrapnel, a glove, blood, gore, an arrow, whatever they can find, they're going to throw it at you in the 3D. And it's just annoying. Listen, 3D does not have to be a gimmick. It can be a storytelling tool. Of course, you'd have to have a story to tell in the first place, and this movie doesn't. Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunters, not one you want to see.